Once, in a house built from heavy gray stone and very old oak wood, there lived a person who felt that the world had become much too loud. Everything moved with too much speed. The clocks on the high walls ticked with a sharp, fast sound, and the nights always felt far too short for a tired mind. This person decided to leave the noise behind. They walked to the very top of their house, climbing a long, winding staircase that creaked softly under their feet. At the top was an old room, a place filled with dust, silence, and long-forgotten memories. The air in this room was still and heavy, smelling of old leather, ancient paper, and dried lavender flowers kept in jars. In the farthest, darkest corner of that room, resting on a small wooden table, sat a box. It was made of dark, polished oak, and its surface was as smooth as glass. When they opened it, the metal hinges made a tiny, musical sound that echoed in the quiet room. Inside, they found a compass. It was not made of common iron or cheap brass. It was made of pure, glowing silver. It felt cool and heavy in their palm, like a smooth stone taken from a cold river. But as they looked at the needle under the dim light, they saw it was not pointing north. It was not pointing to any city, mountain, or sea on a regular map. The needle was moving with a slow, gentle grace, like a quiet finger pointing toward a distant and beautiful dream that was just out of reach. The traveler decided to trust the silver needle. They stepped out of their house and into the cool, fresh evening air. The sun was beginning to hide its face behind the tall, dark pine trees of the forest. The sky was changing every single minute, shifting from a soft, warm gold to a deep, royal purple. The silver compass led them toward a narrow path they had never noticed before, even though they had lived in that house for many, many years. It was a wide, inviting path completely covered in thick, soft, emerald green moss. Each step they took felt like walking on a warm, heavy cloud. There was no sound of cars, no sound of voices, and no sound of machines. There was only the sound of nature, slow and steady, getting ready for a long night of rest. The forest was very quiet, almost like a giant cathedral made of leaves. The only sound was the high wind moving through the very tops of the trees. It sounded like a long, slow breath being taken by the earth itself. The traveler felt their own heart begin to slow down, beating in time with the rhythm of the deep woods. The silver compass shimmered in the fading light, casting tiny, dancing sparks of white light onto the bark of the ancient trees. It led them past a small, winding stream. The water was as clear as crystal and moved over smooth, round stones with a gentle, bubbling melody. The traveler stopped for a long minute just to listen to the water. The stream seemed to be whispering a friendly secret, telling them that time was not real here, and there was no need to hurry ever again. The world could wait. The work could wait. Everything could wait. The needle of the compass moved once more, pointing toward a high hill covered in a soft, white mist. They walked slowly up the slope, feeling the cool, damp air on their skin. The air here smelled like fresh pine needles, wet earth, and the coming rain. The mystery was growing deeper with every step, but it was a comfortable mystery. It was like a heavy, warm wool blanket wrapped tightly around their shoulders on a cold night. They reached the very top of the hill, where the trees opened up to reveal a hidden garden. It was a place so beautiful it looked like it had been painted by a dream. This garden was very old, very secret, and very peaceful. There were tall, elegant roses that had no thorns at all, and small white flowers that seemed to glow in the dark like tiny, fallen stars. In the middle of the garden, there was a stone seat, worn perfectly smooth by hundreds of years of wind and soft rain. The silver compass began to vibrate gently in their hand. It felt warm now, as if it was happy to finally be back where it belonged. The traveler sat down on the cool stone seat and looked down at the soft ground. There, tucked deeply under a thick, twisted tree root, was a small metal tin with a rusted lid. With very slow and careful movements, they picked up the tin and opened it. Inside, there was a single note written in bright blue ink on yellow paper. The handwriting was large, kind, and very easy for the eyes to read. It said, "You have spent so much of your life looking for answers in big, heavy books and complicated maps. You have spent so much time worrying about the next turn in the road. But the most important thing in the world is the peace you feel right this second. This garden was built a long time ago for those who finally know how to listen to the silence. The silver compass led you here because your soul was finally ready to stop searching and start resting. You are not lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. As the traveler finished reading the very last word, the silver compass stopped moving. This long journey was finally over. The needle stayed perfectly still, resting at last in the center of the dial. The traveler looked up and saw the full moon rising slowly over a nearby lake. The water was like a giant, dark mirror, reflecting the silver moon and 1,000 glowing stars. The mystery was not a puzzle to be solved with the brain. It was a feeling to be felt with the heart. It was the feeling of being safe, being completely quiet, and finally being home. The traveler leaned their head back against the stone seat. Their eyes felt heavy, but it was a soft, warm, and pleasant weight. The world was silent. The garden was a safe fortress where no worries could enter. The silver compass sat in their lap, glowing softly like a small coal under the moonlight. They realized that they didn't need to go back to the loud world. Not tonight. The night was long. The grass was as soft as silk, and the stars were watching over them like old friends. They felt a deep, wonderful sense of happiness. It was not a loud or exciting happiness, but a quiet, steady, and glowing one that filled their chests like a warm drink on a winter night. All the worries of the day, all the lists of things to do, and all the noisy, busy thoughts had turned into thin gray smoke and drifted far away into the dark night sky. The sound of the wind in the trees was like a mother singing a soft song without any words. The traveler took one last, deep look at the silver stars and felt a wonderful wave of calm wash over their entire body, from their head down to their toes. Everything was perfect. The silver compass had brought them to the true place of rest. Their eyes closed slowly, bit by bit, until the world turned into a soft, dark velvet. The garden remained still. The lake remained calm. Small fireflies began to dance a slow dance around the stone sea. And as the moon moved slowly and quietly across the dark sky, the traveler fell into a sleep that was deeper, longer, and more peaceful than any sleep they had ever known in their entire life.